up, and I shoot in. Hold this. Slide. We bring our head off the side, this level. And he's going to drive over, pulling this like this. I stay heavy.
Hey guys, it's Jeff Chan from Credit, and I'm here with UFC Hall of Fame and former Bellator champion Rory MacDonald. And today he's going to be showing us 7 of his favorite tactics.
And if you like it, make sure you check out my instructionals on BJJ Fanatics. First one, Southpaw versus righty situation. Use this against my fight against Robbie Lawler because he was successfully slipping my right hand. So what we're doing here is we're timing that slip, throwing the rear head kick. So we throw this, he slips, and while this hand is still out there, we're throwing our head kick. We don't want to bring it back and then throw it because his head is already going to be back in the center line. We want him dipping off that center line and catching him at the exact same time. He slips and we kick. Generally, we want to step to the outside and get the outside foot or an angle to hit the right cross. What I like to do is threaten my straight cross, and a lot of the times is they're trying to slip it coming to the inside. So they're coming here and they're exposing the shoulder. Throwing these a couple times, making them see him coming, and then I'm shooting this forward using the palm of my hand here to push this back, and I'm dropping my level, squatting on this front leg, and I'm scooping this front ankle. As I push this forward, I lift this up and I run him down. It's an easy way to get this ankle pick. My next one is a reactive takedown. We're gonna move around and he's gonna try to come in on me, and I'm constantly adjusting to make sure that distance stays the same. So if we move around, okay, I'm constantly, and if he moves back, I'm coming right back. I'm staying in this distance. As we're doing that, he may try to throw some strikes. First thing is just evade it by controlling the distance. We're going, he might try to strike me now, and I just control the distance. We want to get him frustrated, and then once he overcommits, we're gonna lower our level and we're gonna shoot in and get into his hips with a double leg. It's a collision because he's coming forward, I'm coming forward, and we can take him down with a lot more ease. Okay, I'm timing that. Okay, you try to go again. I drop my level and I shoot in. He comes in, I drop my level, okay? Level change, and I push off this back leg and I shoot in. Little detail on the double leg, you can chop behind the knees, but the strongest is always to collect your grip underneath the butt line here, and then you can start walking him through. Let's say we shoot in on a double, but our opponent was able to fish in an underhook and start pulling us up. How that looks, we get in here, he starts pulling us up, we're standing back up again. So as we shoot, he's getting an underhook, pulling us up. I'm gonna shoot my rear leg through here. So I'm bringing this here, stepping in, bumping my hips with his. Oh, I'm low, I'm under his hips, but he's pulling me up to stand up. So as I feel that, I'm bringing my hips in. My rear leg is now my front leg. Because I like to hook here. Some people like to stand tall and draw their heel back like this. I find for a taller guy with longer legs, I have more success coming knee to the floor. You could also play around with standing tall and hooking here with the inside leg trip. There's no wrong answer here, but you do need to make sure that you've knocked his weight, his center of gravity over his hips if you're gonna put that knee to the floor. Because if I come here and I didn't knock his hips back, his weight is going forward. I really need to make sure that when I step in, I'm coming forward. So again, we shoot, he pulls up. I step in with my hip, knocking his hips back, my weight is forward. I start hooking, I block this leg, and I like to come up high. Sometimes he only has one, that's fine. We can lift this and bring it up like this underhook. If not, we knock his head over. So we come in like this, and we finish heisting the leg like this, and then we get into our full guard position. A bit faster, we come in, we pull, What I like to do is come into what I call like a steering wheel position. I always keep my hands in here, my elbows in tight. So I never want my elbows flared out here, because you could easily swim and start using these to bring your knees in and stuff. So keeping my elbows tight, keeping this here. And if you notice, I'm like trying to pinch your hips on the side here. First thing we want to do is get posture. In MMA, guys are never gonna let us do that. He's always pulling us down. So the first thing in ground and pound is deal with him trying to break our posture down, okay? What we want to do is constantly swim to this position. Sometimes you got overhooks and things like that. A nice strong head control. Sometimes it's even double overhooks, for example. What I like to do in any of these scenarios, I put my forehead into your chin. So I swim it under, okay? I go right to here and I start pushing in, okay? Now, what I want to do is get up on my toes and start driving off my toes and start applying pressure with my body weight, stretching your spine up. Sometimes he turns his head to the side, it's fine. You find his head and you push that jawline away. It's gonna make it pretty uncomfortable. You're gonna start giving up a lot of these controls, whatever it may be, and then we're gonna start pummeling through. Overhooks, which is like the biggest pain in the ass. We find it, we start driving forward and get up on these toes, okay? These become a lot weaker. So then once they're weak, then I can start pummeling and coming back into my position here. Now I'm back in control here and I have my weight on you. I'm being pretty nice here. So now what I want to do is drop my knee and I'm on my toes here. Now I can start coming up to posture. Now we can start finding good ground and pound rather than when we're here. This is not going to really do anything. Now that we have posture, inside control, we have his hips controlled, they're flat and straight. Now I can start thinking about ground and pound. A lot of guys who have active guards, it's not easy to do ground and pound because they want to get their hips off, they're moving constantly. It can be very difficult. First things first is control before hitting. We do this, we break the posture, we got inside control, we start getting our head over his head, and now we can start hitting. The different techniques here, we have elbows, inside elbows, we could power punches like that. If he starts pulling on our heads to bring us down again, okay, you could pull this and come over top, swim back inside elbow. Another one I like is the simple collar tie. It could be you have one here, or you have two here, but he's very strong. I've fought in a few guys that have been very strong here. Because they're not experienced in jiu-jitsu, sometimes I fought in guys that are physically strong, but they want to stand back up. But so they're holding me as tight as they can. What I've done in the past is I come here inside, I extend my arms as much as I can. Even though he's pulling straight, I'm extending here. Okay, but I make sure it's not on the mat. It has to be on his body here and your elbows in tight. So I'm pushing. He's gonna be pulling us back down. We want that, okay? For this technique. So we're going, and then we crash in with the inside elbow body. You may not get the perfect angle here. Your arms only might be bent this much because he's just got so much grip, but we're crashing our weight in. So I'm turning my shoulder in and I'm using my weight to sink in. Ideally, we want to aim for the solar plex. So it goes like this. We come up, we straighten the arm as much as we can, and we crash back down with all our weight, and then we start coming inside control again to the hips, start getting posture. But sometimes you'll do this 3-4 times before a guy will start, reacting. I've used it in a few fights and it works great. Guys really start giving up on those head controls and it opens up the bigger punches with the posture. A tricky little thing I like to do is from inside control once again, what we're gonna try to do is find this wrist. Sometimes he might be trying to underhook a leg, like this, and get an angle. Whenever we start seeing his arm flatten out like this, is we're gonna slide down, okay? We're in constant contact and we're sliding down to this wrist. If it's the leg, and he goes there, he's actually more set up there because we could use our leg to clamp down. We just sit on and we could slide down and start pinning, taking this leg out. Inside control here first, and it could even be from that position we were talking about before. And he starts maybe going down and we go to that wrist control, keep our head in the chin to keep him straight. If he gets out of there, he has more strength. So we want to keep him straight. We lock that wrist up. I want to bring my head off the center and off here. So I'm coming on off the center line, Okay, my head's on this side now, and my chest now replaces, and I'm up on my toes. Now this is gonna take weight off of his lower back and give this passage here for me to pass that hand. Now I sit back down. I still have this hand locked with this grip, and now I'm putting weight down on his hips with my chest. So I'm locking this hand here. Some people will stand up here, but his hips now have movement, and he could wiggle this arm free. How we're gonna control this arm here is our chest down on top of his hip line. We could still generate a lot of power here if you wanna start hitting. We just have to rotate our shoulders and still keep our chest heavy. And now we could come through with crosses and overhands, okay? I'm not just using my arm. I'm turning, stretching the rubber band, and throwing the hook, and now look at my head. It's coming off the center line. I'm here, opening up, boom. Now let's look into passing, okay? So now that we're here, we've done some damage. Maybe his legs have loosened up, okay? After he gets hit, he wants to really get out of here, create angles. Whenever he does that, we're gonna take this free hand and put the elbow inside the thigh or inside the knee. If it's a little tighter, it could be here. And we're gonna start pushing that down to the mat. Now we can start putting our weight forward and bringing our shin over this pin. Have it pinned here. Now we're stapling it with our shin. Okay, now we've passed the legs. Now let's start getting into position. We take this free hand, we come under the head. Right away we want to start looking at his chin and pointing it that way to weaken his structure. I have this leg stapled, free hand comes through. I'm gonna sometimes grab this armpit and I could pull that in. Shoulder pressure as I start back stepping with that other leg. I've cleared the legs. My knee to the hip and the other knee here. I'm doing nice strong side control. Again, here we're inside, we slide down, we bring our head off to the side, we lift, we're up on our toes so this lower back comes free. We come back down, lower our chest level. We could do some punches until he starts wiggling his hips trying to get out. Stay heavy here. Elbow comes here. We replace it with the shin staple. Okay, you can throw a few more shots here. We come under, hook the armpit, and start driving forward. Now, we're gonna start back stepping as this leg is stapled, okay? And now we put all our weight on this shoulder, okay? And now we're gonna replace the staple with this knee on the hip and this knee here, and our chest goes heavy. That's how you pass the guard.
I'm gonna try that. I'm like lightheaded from that.
Sorry. Go regular side control here. We have a far side underhook, near side underhook on his head. Okay. Our knees up along his hip and under our elbow here. So a lot of guys will try to hit here, and his reaction is to create a frame. So when I hit, I have no power here. First thing I want to start addressing this. I want to pinch my neck into my shoulder and creating a bit of a grip here. And now I've also hooked over the tricep to have some sort of control here of this far arm. Because if he gets this in front of my face and cross face pushing it away, I have less positional dominance here. The first thing is I hook here, I have a little bit of grip here. Now he has this frame structure here. We're gonna replace it with our own. So we're gonna swim. We're gonna go around and we're gonna do the exact same thing on him. We're gonna push this down as we bring our knee out, okay? So our knee was here, we staple it and we bring our knee back. Now we drive over, we punch our knee through, now we've stapled this arm to the ground. Clamp, we go to punch, he frames. We swim in, we pin and staple with our knee into Crucifix. So now we can start hitting, but his this pinch on the shoulder is not gonna be super effective for that long. Because once we start getting desperate, he's gonna rotate that and he's gonna start looking at cross facing. So I don't wanna stay up here, postured too long in Crucifix. I wanna start establishing control. So once I come here, I might be able to land an elbow, okay? But as I throw this elbow down, I wanna start bringing my head to the mat here, okay? And maybe you don't wanna do that at all if you start feeling this arm rotate. You might just wanna start coming down right away and start pinning that head, okay? Once you're here, Watch this back leg, that he doesn't start turning his hips and trying to trap this back leg and get free by rotating your hips out like that. So make sure you're hiding that back leg so he's not getting it. Now from here, my head's controlled. I have an underhook here. I can start hitting, but he has this arm here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna push my hips in like this. Now what I'm gonna do is I have this energy stored, okay? I'm pulling this, I'm pushing my hips down. I'm gonna let go of this wrist as I kick, okay? I come here and go like this. Now I could start either stapling here or triangling my legs around his trapped arm. Now I really have a good position here. I have a nice underhook and head control pin on this far arm. Now he's really stuck. Now if we want to go ahead and finish this guy, we have our triangle here. We start scooping up like this, okay? Now we take our free hand, we push the head, and with this leg, the near leg, we're scooping his head like this. Now we take this out, and now we have a topside triangle or inverse triangle. To attack this arm, we're sliding, but stay heavy, stay heavy. We're gonna replace this, and we're gonna keep our head on the mat. What we're gonna do here is start looking for this wrist grip, and we're gonna look for a straight arm lock or Kimura's. I prefer the straight arm lock here. Keep your head, your chest heavy on this arm, because he's gonna wanna be wiggling it, turning his hand, trying to escape this. But if we stay heavy the whole time, it's gonna be very hard for him to escape. So we start wiggling this wrist control in, and we start, and now we start creating that frame. My forearm is underneath his elbow, create the frame, and we're breaking it like this, putting pressure on this hand and lifting up with this forearm, okay? Now, I don't take my head off the mat when I do this. I stay heavy and I lean forward. I create pressure on the wrist down to the mat, and I start lifting my elbow with this arm to break the elbow.